بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Okay, so let's do a quick recap here before we move on to our new lesson, inshallah. This is the lesson on Noon Sakin, Meme Sakin. Does everyone recall what we studied last week?
Yes.
Yeah. So we did this actually 2 weeks back, but last week we revised this. So real quickly, right, we have noon and meme, okay? So if there's a noon with a sukoon or a meme with a sukoon followed by certain letters, then obviously we have different rules that are applied, okay? So if we have the meme sakin rules, we have ikhfa, idgham, and idhar, okay? So again, just going here quickly. Let's go here, where is it? Yes, there's the summary of the rules of meme sakina. So if after a meme sakina, a meme with a sukoon, we have a ba, then we apply ikhfa, right? So it means we hide the sound and we apply ghunna. So for example, rabbuhum or rabbahum bihim, right? Rabbahum bihim. Or tarmihim bihi. So there's a meme sakina followed by a ba. So we close our lips on the meme, hold the sound, the ghunna, and then open on the ba. Tarmihim bi. Tarmihim bi. Okay. Idgham is when there's two memes together, so it's easy, right? You close your lips on the meme, and then you open on the other meme. Okay. So kam man, man, and so on. Idhar is if there is any other letter besides a ba or a meme following a meme sakina. And what you do there is you just read clearly. Idhar means to read clear, right? Example of that is in Surah Al-Fatiha, An'amta. Am, so you close your lips on the meme, but you don't hold the ghunna, you don't lengthen it. Rather, you close your lips on the meme and then open on the next letter. An'amta. Okay? So that's ikhfa, to hide. Idgham is to merge, to join. You join two memes together. And idhar is to read clearly. Okay? Then we have noon sakina and tanween rules, and we said that noon sakin and tanween is the same thing because if you have, for example, I'll write it here once more. I know we've done this many times, but let's do it again. So if we have, for example, an, okay, or like bun, ba with a dhamma, noon with a sukoon, this equals ba with two dhammas. That's two dhammas, right? Two dhammas, okay. Or ba with a two fathas equals ba with a fatha noon on the second, right? So that's the exact same thing, okay? That's the exact same thing. So that's why we say the rules of noon sakina and tanween. Rules of noon sakina and tanween, okay? So, so we have the exact same rules, idhar, idgham, ikhfa, plus iqlab, okay? So real quickly, idhar is the throat letters, the 6 throat letters, 2 at the bottom of the throat, hamza, ha, 2 in the middle of the throat, ayn and ha, and 2 at the top of the throat, ghayn and kha. Right? This is a review of the makharij. So if after a noon sakin or tanween we have any of these 6 letters, then we're going to read clearly. Okay, example, an'amta. So you close your, or you don't close, rather, you read the makhraj of noon, and the makhraj of noon, as we mentioned last time, is the tongue is hitting the roof of the mouth, right? Canine to canine, the tip of the tongue is touching or pressing against the roof of the mouth, and we get the noon, right? That's the makhraj of noon. An, so it comes together. An. If it's followed by any one of these 6 letters, then what do? You read it clearly. Meaning you actually press the makhraj of the noon, you don't extend it, and you just go to the next letter. An'amta. You don't say an'amta, or you don't try to hide it like in ikhfa and say an'amta. Rather, you press the makhraj of the noon, the tongue presses the roof of the mouth, and then you move to the next letter. An'amta. Yanhawna, example of ha, right? There's a noon sakina followed by ha. Yanhawna, or a hamza. Yan'awna, or ayn. An'amta, right? And so on and so forth. Min khawf, right? Min khawf. Min, and then kha, khawf. Or min ghayri, mun khaniqa, and so on. Okay, what about idgham? So if after noon sakin or tanween you have one of these 6 letters, yarmalun, ya, ra, mim, lam, waw, noon, okay? what do? You do idgham. Idgham means to merge, to join. Okay. Example here. We have, for example, meme with a, so noon with a sukoon followed by ya. Okay. So man ya'mal or min wal. Okay. So what do you do here? So you join the meme to the ya because it means to join, to merge, idgham. So may. Okay. But then if it's yanmu, you have to read with ghunna. Man ya'mal. If it's a waw, also ghunna because it's part of yanmu, 4 letters, min wal. But if it was a lam or a ra, then you read without ghunna. Example of that is man law. So meme, noon, lam, wow, like that. Man law. So meme joins the lam. Okay, we know that because it's idgham. So you don't read the noon. And then you don't do any extra pull or extra ghunna because it's ra or lam without ghunna. So you just say mal law. Mal law. There is no trace of the noon remaining there. Okay. And then obviously, you know, if it's in one word, then obviously you'd make idhar, like the word dunya, dunya. Okay. So example is dunya. So dunya, right? This is one word. It's not 2 words. Therefore, you do idhar. You read the noon just like you did in idhar an'amta, dunya, or qinwan, or sinwan, or bunyan. Okay. All right. Now let's go back here. We have if there is a ba after it, then what do? So we change. Iqlab means to change, right? So we change it. So min ba'di, okay, min ba'di. So what do we do here? We change the noon sakina here, or if it was a tanween, to a meme, and that's why in some of the copies of the Quran we'll see a little meme on top. So we change the noon into meme, mim, and then we do the same rule as the rule of meme sakina. Ikhfa, we just hold the sound and then we open on the ba. Close the lips, mim, open on the ba, mim ba'di. Okay. And then finally we have what? We have ikhfa of noon sakina, which is the remaining letters. Okay. So the remaining 15 letters, we do ikhfa. And I explained this last time. Okay. So I drew the little picture here. So this is the roof of the mouth. This is the tongue. So it doesn't actually hit the makhraj of noon. It comes close to it, and then you hold the sound. You do ikhfa, you hold the sound. You do ghunna, you hold the sound in the nose there, okay? And then you prepare your mouth for the next letter. So you slowly move your mouth, your tongue, and so on to the next letter. Example of that is anfusikum, right? So anfusikum, we don't say anfusikum. There's a fa, a fa. How do we know it's ikhfa? Because it's not 6 letters of throat. It's not yarmalun. It's not ba. Therefore, it's ikhfa. Okay. So what do we do here? We bring it close. We don't actually pronounce the makhraj of noon, and then we hold it and prepare our mouth to the next letter, which is the fa. Anfusikum min qabli mansura. And we said that if there is a heavy letter or a thick letter, which is the letter of isti'la, khussa, dagh, qid, that's how you remember the 7 letters. Of course, not all of them are going to be ikhfa because kha is idhar. But if it's a heavy letter, then obviously the sound of the ghunna will be heavy. Mansura, as opposed to mansura, like a scene, right? Mansa or mansha, okay? Manta, and so on. Min duni. Okay, I hope that's understood. I mean, we've done this a few times now. This is another review for you. So inshallah, it should be well understood now. We just need to go through many examples now. Okay, so we're going to go and then complete this book, and then we'll do the examples, inshallah. Okay. So we move on to the next lesson, which is med. Okay, we're just going to read through it, and then we'll explain, inshallah. Med, literally, again, we should always know the literal. Literal means the linguistic meaning, the lexical meaning if you open up a dictionary. Med literally means to lengthen or to extend. So it's a mim dan. Technically means, again, what? According to the qurra, the scholars in the field of tajweed, it means the lengthening of sound in the letters of med or the letters of lin. Okay? Again, the letters of lin, we'll get to that. So the letters of med are 3, a waw sakina preceded by a dhamma. So we have a waw before there's a dhamma, oo sound. Ya sakina preceded by a kasra. So it's the E sound and alif, which obviously has a fatha. Alif will always have a, oh, it's mentioned here. The note, the alif is always preceded by a fatha. Okay. The letters of lin are two. Waw sakina preceded by a fatha. So we have aw sound like khawf. And ya sakina preceded by a fatha like ay. For example, shay, shaytanir, or shay, and so on. Okay, does everyone understand up till now what we covered? I want everyone to respond. Either you can just
Yes.
chat.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
okay. If there are any questions, then you can ask in the chat box now, inshallah. Okay, and I'll look at it and answer. But we're going to move forward. So initially, mad is divided into two types. We have al-mad al-asli, which is the primary mad, and al-mad al-far'i, which is the secondary mad. Okay, so mad asli, again, is primary. It is that mad where after the letter of mad, there is no hamza or sukun. So look at this example, nuhiha. It actually combines all three letters of mad. Again, what are the letters of mad? Alif, waw, or ya. The letters of mad are alif, waw, or ya. And you can remember them in the phrase nuhiha. Okay. So this word actually has all three combined. Okay. So look here, there is the letter, there is the waw here. This is a mad letter. After it, there is no hamza and there is no sukun. Okay. There is a ya. After it, there is no hamza, there is no sukun. There's a ha. And then after the alif, there is no hamza, there is no sukun. Okay. So this duration of mad asli is one alif. One alif is also referred to as qasr. Qasr means to shorten. Okay. So we can call it mad asli. We can also call it another name, mad tabi'i. Okay. So you can say al-mad al-tabi'i. Okay, or tabi'i. Or English T tabi'i, something like that. Okay. Why is it called tabi'i? Because it's a natural mad. So if we tell anyone to read, for example, any ayah which just has one alif, for example, just tell them to read maliki, they're going to stretch it a natural mad. Okay, it's not going to be too long, it's not going to be too short, it's going to be a natural mad. So they're going to say maliki, okay, wa idha, and so on and so forth. Okay, like ar-Rahmani ar-Rahim, the ar-Rahmani. So you're not going to say ar-Rahmani or ar-Rahmani. It's going to be a natural mad. That's why it's called mad tabi'i or mad asli, and it's also called qasr. It's the duration is one alif. Okay. So this is quite easy, and you don't need anything. You don't need much practice on this because it comes naturally. If we tell anyone to read it, they'll most likely they will read it. Just the duration of one alif. Okay. Mad far'i, it is that mad where after the letter of, what are the letters of mad? Someone tell me quickly.
Alif, waw, ya.
Thank you. So it is that mad where after the letter of mad, either alif, waw, or ya, there is a hamza or a sukun. There is a hamza or a sukun. So we're going to talk about hamza now, and then we'll talk about sukun. So the hamza is a cause for two types of mad. So if after a mad letter there is a hamza, then we have two types of mad. Al-mad al-muttasil, the joined mad, and al-mad al-munfasil, the separated mad. So muttasil, right, comes from the word ittasala or wasala. And then we have munfasil, fasal, right? Remember in the beginning we have fasl awwal, wasl thani, and so on and so forth. So wasal means to join, right? Muttasil, ittasala, and infasal means to separate. So we have two types of mad. So if after the letter of mad, the hamza is in the same word together with the letter of mad, then it is mad muttasil. So for example, ja'a, look here. If we read it normally without any mad, it will be just mad tabi'i, right? Ja'a. But since there is a hamza after the letter of mad, in this case it is alif. So there is a letter of mad, which is alif, followed by hamza. What do? We stretch it. Okay, where's the mad letter here in this word? Ji'a.
Ya, because after that is hamza.
And where's the mad letter in this word? Su'un.
Wow.
Good, followed by hamza. So this is mad muttasil because it's in one word. Okay. So it is called the joined mad al-mad al-muttasil because the letter of mad, in this case the alif or the ya or the waw, and the hamza, okay, are joined together in one word. If after the letter of mad the hamza forms part of the beginning of the next word, then it is mad munfasil. So if there are two words, then it will be munfasil. Look at this example, bima unzila. So where's the mad letter here?
In unzila.
Where's the mad letter here?
Unzila mein.
No, where's the mad letter here? Bima
Bima,
unzila.
ma.
Alif.
After the meme,
Alif.
the alif.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Jazakumullah khair. One person answered in the chat box. I think it was the sister Zulaykha. Yeah. So there is an alif, right? It's followed by what?
Hamza.
Hamza. Is it in one word or two words?
2 words.
Therefore, it's called mad munfasil. Okay. Where's the mad letter here? Qu anfusakum.
In ku.
The
Wow.
wow. The wow.
Wow.
The wow,
Yes.
right? Don't get confused by this alif. This is there for spelling. So there's a wow followed by what? A hamza. So mad munfasil. Okay. Fi anfusikum. Where's the mad letter?
Yeah.
Kasra.
Yeah. Yeah. Followed by a hamza, and it's in 2 words, so it's mad munfasil, not muttasil. Okay. Now, just for so someone asked, what's the alif for after the waw? So this alif here, this is, you can just say for now, just think of it spelling there. Don't worry about that. Okay. So we're talking about the waw and the alif and the ya. Okay. So someone asked, oh, there's an alif here, right? So don't get confused, right? It's not huwa, it's hu anfusakum. It's there. You can just say for spelling. Okay. So, yeah, so now just for revision here, is there any rule here? Unzila.
Elongation, you have to make it longer. Bima.
That's fine. Yeah, that part is done. So we know that we're going to pull it, right? That's fine. We know it's a mad. But I'm asking in the word unzila, is there any
Yeah.
here?
So you've got noon sakin.
Noon sakin rule.
Unzila.
Good. So what rule is this?
Ikhfa.
Ikhfa.
The ikhfa.
Ikhfa of noon sakina. Good. So
Yes.
what we do here, we hide it. We don't say unzila, we say
Unzila.
So we prepare our mouth for the za. Unzila. Okay. Is there any rule here? Anfusakum.
Yeah.
Same akhfa.
Ikhfa.
Ikhfa.
Perfect. Good. Good. MashaAllah. You guys are understanding. And this is the same thing. So what do we do here? Hide the noon and
The noon.
anfusakum.
Anfusakum.
And don't actually touch your lips. So when you're preparing for the next letter, just hold. So just listen. Don't actually, keep your makhraj at the next letter. Okay, so don't say and already have your, what's the makhraj of fa? Remember, it's the bottom of the lip touching the top central incisors, right? So don't keep your makhraj or don't keep your tongue at that makhraj already and say no. It should be slowly moving towards it. And then when the gunna, the duration is done, the sound is done in the nose, then you open or then you move to the next makhraj. So fusi, okay? So it is called the separated mad, al-maddul munfasil, right? I mean, if we were to see, is there any rule here? There is munfasil, right? There's followed by a fa, just like anfusikum. But obviously, when we're speaking normally, we don't do that, right? Okay, so it is called the separated mad, al-maddul munfasil, because the letter of mad and the hamza are in 2 separate words. So bima, 1 word, unzila, 2nd word, hu, 1 word, anfusakum, another word, fi, 1 word, anfusikum, another word. Now, what's the duration? Remember the duration of mad tabi'i or mad asli or qasr? It was 1 alif. What is the duration of mad muttasil or munfasil? It is 3 or 4 alifs. Okay, so it's either 3 alifs or 4 alifs, and it's also called tawassut. If you remember what is tawassut, it means in between, right? Back in when we studied sifat, we had shidda, rikhwa, and tawassut, right? So
Yes.
had the 5 letters.
Yes.
You guys remember? So tawassut is also called bayniya, so it's in between. That's why it's called tawassut. We have another mad which is called tul, right? Which means to lengthen. That's why this is called tawassut. So we can call this mad munfasil. Of course, we can say the duration is tawassut. So very simply, we'll just say tawassut. Okay. And qasr is that one alif. Okay. All right, so we finished hamza. So if after a mad letter, there is a hamza, if it's in one word, it's mad muttasil, 2 words, munfasil. Is that understood, everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
Is there any question so far? Because we're going to move on to the second reason, which is sukun. So if that's not understood, or if you have any question, then please ask now.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa
Yes,
barakatuh.
salam.
Yeah, mad al-asl, I used to know that, yes, asl, actually. I used to know that it's 2 count. How is 2 count different from 1 alif?
So, okay, good, very good question. So if I ask you what is a count, how would you define that?
By
What-
counting your finger, 1, 2 seconds, in seconds, 1, 2.
2 seconds? Okay. So I'm going to time this now. I'm going to time it now. 2 seconds. You said 2 counts, so let's see. So Maliki, I'm going to count it, okay? So I'm going to begin here. You guys can see the start. So I'm not cheating here. Okay, there we go. Ma. You see how long that was?
It's more than 2 counts.
That's more than 2 counts. What is a count, right? So let's do it again. Ar-Rahman, for example. Ar-Rahman. Is that correct? Obviously not. Right? Okay. So you get the point. So there's a lot of confusion. Some people say count, some people say second. So now you know how long a second is, right? A second is quite long. So what is a count? So it's not a count, okay? So they say 2 harakas, okay? So you can use this. There's 2 different ways you can count mads. And actually at the end of this, I'm going to show you a very simple way of counting mads, okay? Very simple way. But for now, you can just say, 2 harakas equals 1 alif, okay? So for example, like a plus a equals alif, right? So maliki is like 2 fathas, ma, and then maliki. So that's what you're referring to. You're referring to 2 harakas and not 2 counts. Because what is a count? We don't know what a count is, right? Is it 2 seconds? Is it 2 hours? What's a count, right? So be very careful with what you choose, your terminology. Okay. Any other questions?
Jazakallah khair for clarifying.
Okay, so we'll move on then, inshallah. So now the second cause for a mad is a sukun, right? Okay. So the sukun, when we know what a sukun is, it's the absence of a haraka. It's the absence of a fatha, a dhamma, a kasra. So this little symbol. The sukun is also a cause for 2 types of mad. We have number 1, al-maddul aridu lis-sukun, and al-maddul lazim. So al-maddul aridu lis-sukun is the temporary or conditional mad due to waqf or stopping. And we have al-maddul lazim, the permanent or compulsory mad. Now we know these terminologies. Al-mad means mad, to stretch, to lengthen. Al-arid, we remember this in sifat, right? We have sifat arida, mutadadda, ghayr mutadadda, and sifat lazima. I hope you guys are reviewing. So arida means temporary or circumstantial, right? Those are the 11 that we remembered. Who has memorized the little poem? Anyone?
Little bit. إظهار نضغام وقلب
وكذا
وكذا
إخفاء وتفخيم ورق
ورق كذا وكذا.
والمد والقصر مع التحرك.
I forgot.
وأيضا السكون والسكت حكي, right?
Yeah.
So those are the 11 صفات what عارضة, circumstantial, temporary. So إخفاء, إدغام, إظهار, it needs certain letters to come after it, right? So it's circumstantial, right? It's temporary, it's circumstantial. Whereas صفات lazima is always there, right? A qalqala is always going to be in the ba. You understand? Hams will always be in the ta. Okay. Whereas صفات عارضة, they are circumstantial. So according to the circumstance around it, So if there is a fa, for example, after a nun sakin or tanween, then we apply ikhfa. Okay. If there is a meme after the nun sakin, then and only then do we do iqlab. So that's why it's called circumstantial. Okay, adil. And then sukoon just means sukoon. Okay. So this one is a temporary. It's a conditional mad. So it's due to waqf or due to you stopping. Okay. So you make a sukoon basically. That's why it's called the temporary mad. And then we have mad lazim, which is a permanent mad. Okay. So if after the letter of mad, again, what is the letter of mad? Alif, waw, or ya. The sukoon is temporary, meaning does not always remain, then it will be mad adil. So look here. Ta'lamun, nasta'in, tukadhiban. Okay. So why do we say it's temporary? Actually, let's take an example of Surah Al-Fatiha. All right. Let's use, for example, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Al-Alameen. Or for example, Ar-Rahim. Endings, right? We have Nasta'in, right? So why is this called temporary? Because you can say Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen or Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahmanir Rahim Maliki Yawmiddin. But if you stop on it, then you make it into a waqf. That's why it's called temporary. Because if you stop on it, right, it's conditional. It's due to waqf or stopping, okay? So ta'lamun, you can say ta'lamun and continue. Nasta'in, or you can say nasta'inu dinas and continue. Tukadhiban, or you can say tukadhibani and continue. So it is called the temporary mad because the sukoon is temporary, because you made it a sukoon, okay? It wasn't always there because it's actually nasta'inu and ta'lamuna and tukadhibani. The duration of mad adil is qasr, tawassut, or tul. Tul is pulled to the length of 5 alifs. So going back, qasr is 1 alif, tawassut is 3 or 4 alifs, and tul is 5 alifs. There is no mad which is pulled longer than tul. So those 3 terminologies you can use. So we have qasr, tawassut, tul. Okay, so qasr 1 alif, tawassut in the middle 3 or 4 alifs, and tul is 5. Okay. So this one, it's saying that for this mad, you can do qasr, tawassut, or tul. So what does that mean? So you can say Maliki Yawmiddin, 1 alif, qasr. Maliki Yawmiddin, tawassut, okay, which is 3 or 4 alifs, right? Or this one, it should be, you can just say tawassut, okay? And then you can do tul, okay? So you can do 5 alifs. Maliki Yawmiddin. Okay, now before we move forward, I said I'm going to give you a very easy way to know the mads or the durations.
Excuse me.
Your fingers here. Okay, so just look here. Just look here before you ask the question. So qasr is just 1 alif, so you don't have to. So you're going to use your hands, okay? So if you open 1 finger, that is 1 alif, which refers to qasr, okay? But since it's called mad tabi'i, it's a natural mad, okay? You don't have to count this one. You don't have to open your finger every time and say Maliki, Ar-Rahmani. It's natural, okay? So that's fine. But tawassut is 3 or 4 fingers. We're going to stick to 3, okay? So bima unzila, right? You're going to say bima unzila. But you're not going to start at B, or you're not going to start at the ma, but you're going to start once you start the mad, right? So don't try to say bima, okay? Once you get to the mad. Or for example, ulaika. This is mad muttasal, it's in 1 word, right? There's a ula, there's a alif followed by hamza in 1 word. So I don't start at u and say ula, no. Start at the la. Ula. 3, okay? 3 fingers. And then tul is like wala dhalin, and we're going to learn that now. So that one, or let's use example Maliki Yawmiddin. Maliki Yawmiddin. But you don't have to open your finger. Maliki Yawmiddin. Maliki Yawmiddin. Okay? Now, question. If I recite slowly, do I open my fingers a bit slowly? Yes, it's according to the pace, okay? If I read quickly, then I'll go quicker. Maliki yawmiddin. I did tawassut, right? If I go quickly, Maliki yawmiddin. Why? Because the haraka, the fatha, dhamma, kasra is being read quickly. Therefore, the alif is obviously going to be read a bit quicker, right? The med is going to be a bit quicker. Now, question may arise. It can be subjective, right? I mean, if it's, a finger, someone could open their finger quickly or slowly, sure. But that's why we have tajweed, right? This is the theoretical part, and then we have the practical part. So you have to sit in front of a teacher and make sure that the duration of meds are correct, okay? So theory is, yes, it's good, 50%, but the other 50% is you reading to a teacher, okay? So you can't have anyone just open the books and say, okay, I'm a master of tajweed. No, that's why you have to read to a teacher. Make sure you're reading the meds right, the ikhfa right, the idgham, and so on and so forth, okay? All right.
Sorry, can I
ask,
just have a question? Sorry. So you're saying to sit in front of a teacher. So these days, like most of the classes are Zoom as well. So is that good enough?
Can they hear you?
Sorry, yes, we are interacting, like say, for example, 15 sisters groups and things. So we have turns, each one of us having a go at reading the tajweed and mad and everything. So is that good enough, or does it have to be like actually in person?
Well, I mean, obviously the best thing is in person if you can, but having said that, this is the next closest thing, right? So if you have your computer on your camera, just like I'm speaking now, you're looking at me, you're seeing how I'm reading the meds, right? And when I say maliki, am I rounding the lips and so on and so forth?
We haven't got camera. We're not. It's like classes held from Saudi, the English-speaking tutors, ustadis from Saudi and things. So it's no camera, no video call. It's just audio, Zoom.
Yeah.
So you're saying should be video and seeing the mouth movements.
Well,
and
I mean,
things.
it's not about, should you have a camera, but rather just so that, it's better, right? It's better so you can actually see the person and so on and so forth. But having said that, I mean, if the teacher is proficient enough, sometimes they can actually hear the recitations, hear the mistakes, right? And see if you're rounding the lips just by listening. So it depends on the teacher's level, of course. If they're quite proficient, then they could capture a lot of mistakes, right? Just by listening, yeah.
Okay, alhamdulillah. Can I just make a comment also? Your camera is, we can barely see your full face, because when you're pronouncing, that's better now, alhamdulillah.
Okay, good.
Struggling to see your face when you're pronouncing and showing us the mouth movement. I was struggling, because sometimes your face will go below the screen, so struggle. Jazakallah khair for your time. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you for letting me know. Actually, I can't see my camera because sometimes I'm moving the thing around, so I don't know where. Let me see if I can.
I didn't want to interrupt, so Jazakallah khair.
No, that's good. Thank you for letting me know, because it's being recorded. And it should...
Excuse me. Excuse me. Here I have a question. As I understood, the duration of temporary mad is kasr and tawassut or tul. It means we can say it's ikhtiyari for us to choose any one of these.
That's correct. So you can choose any one, but if you choose one, you stick to it.
Yes.
So you don't start off and say Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahmanir Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin. No. Okay. So it has to be consistent, basically.
Right. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like, the mud, do we only use it for qasr, or we can use it for alif, qasr, and dhamma?
Sorry, one more time. I didn't get you. Just repeat your question again.
Can we use the mud for alif, qasr, and dhamma, or can we only use it for qasr?
Yeah, so the mad is I think what you're asking is if there's an alif there, or waw, or a yeah. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Okay. Someone asked here, is that 2, 4, 6 seconds? So I don't know if you were here earlier in the class, but I used the timer and I showed how long a second is. Okay, so we're not talking about seconds. It's not seconds. Okay. the terminology is used as either an alif or a haraka. Okay, we're going to refer to alifs because it's more easier and simpler. So qasr is 1 alif, tawassut is 3 or 4 alifs. We can say 3 just for now. And then tul is 5 alifs. And we can say 1 alif is 1 finger, just to make it simple, right? So one alif, 1 finger, qasr, maliki, and then 3 would be tawassut, opening. And you're not opening too fast, too slow, right? And again, like I said, the mad, not only mad, but everything else, right? How you recite the letters, your makharij, your sifat, and so on and so forth, you're going to have to read to a teacher, right? And that's the only way you're going to get, better. Okay, you have to read to a teacher because this is the nature of this science. You can't just learn the theory and say, I'm good at it. No, you have to read to a teacher, okay? And you can read just as the sister mentioned, or ask, can we read over a phone call or whatever? Sure, you can, right? If the teacher is proficient enough, then why not, inshallah. Okay, according to your speed of recitation, Sister Zaina, I'm not sure what you're asking there. If that is a question, I'm not sure.
Can I, sorry, ask another question? If the sister is going to speak. So, mad wajib, mutassil, and mad laiz, munfasil. So what's the difference between them?
Mad muttasil and munfasil, you mean?
Yes.
So yeah, so it was covered in this page here, right? If you recall.
Sorry, you probably did say so. I'm looking at my mushaf, so I just wanted to again just understand it.
So mad muttasil is in 1 word. So for example, ja'a, ji'a, and su'un. And munfasil is in 2 words. Okay, so for example here, bima 1 word, unzila 2nd word, hu 1 word, anfusakum 2nd word, and so on. Okay.
Okay, I understand. Jazakallah.
Okay. Now, let's move on here, inshallah. So we have, okay, so we stop here. So there is no mad which is longer than tul. Now, if after the letter of mad, the sukun is permanent, okay, it remains in all conditions during waqf and wasl, then it will be mad lazim. It will be mad lazim, okay? So example is qaf or al-ana, okay? It doesn't matter if you stop or you go forward, it's going to be there all the time. That's called mad lazim, okay? So it is called the compulsory mad because the sukun is compulsory or permanent, sorry. So example here, qaf. How is qaf written, by the way? It's like this, right? Qaf, alif, and then fa with a sukun, sorry. So it's not qafun or qafa or qafi or whatever. It's always a sukun. And that's why it's called permanent mad or mad lazim. Alrighty, so the duration of mad lazim again is tul, 5 alifs or 5 fingers only. Now these terminologies you should know for the next page. Kilmi comes from the word kalima, which means a word. Harfi comes from the word harf, which means a letter. Okay, so kilmi, kalima, harfi, harf, word and letter. Mukhaffaf comes from the word khafif, which means light. So it's referring to a sukun, which is generally light or easy to read. And then muthaqqal is thaqil, comes from the word thaqil, which means heavy, referring to a tashdid, which is heavier in pronunciation than the sukun. So they're referring to the sukun and tashdid, or the shadda. Okay? So the comparison is being made there, right? In comparison. So that's why this is called mukhaffaf, because sukun is lighter than a shadda. Right? But if you think about it, it's actually, so let me give you an example here. So we have like, sorry, Hamza Fatha and the Noon Sukun, Hamza Fatha Noon with a Shadda, Anna. Right? So the first one, there's a Noon with a Sukun, so that's Mukhaffaf, An. Second one, there's a Shadda, An, so it's heavier, okay? But actually, Anna is actually, if you think about it, it's actually An, the first one Sukun, and then there's another Noon with a Fatha, right? But it's Anna. So the Idgham is done, Idgham means to merge. Both noons are put together, and then you bring the little W or shadda tashdid sign, and then you join them, and it becomes that heavier. So anna, okay? Okay, So mad lazim is initially divided again into two types. So we have al-maddul lazim kilmi and al-maddul lazim harfi. Okay, so mad lazim, we know what mad lazim is. It is that sukoon which is permanent, always there. As opposed to nasta'inu, there's actually a dhamma, but if you stop on it, then you make it into a sukoon. So it's a temporary sukoon, a temporary waqf, okay? So this is called al-maddul lazim kilmi, al-maddul lazim harfi. Kilmi is one word, harfi letter. So mad lazim will be kilmi if the letter of mad and the sukoon are found in one word, okay? In a word. So okay, sorry about that. All right. So mad lazim will be kilmi if the letter of mad and the sukoon are found in a word, okay? Kalima. And mad lazim will be harfi if the letter of mad and the sukoon are found in a letter, a harf. Okay, so I don't know what I said before, but this is a letter and this is a word, okay? So a word and a letter. By letter, it's referring to the cut letters, which is al-huruf al-muqatta'at, and they're found in the beginning of the surahs. So like alif, lam, mim, ra, ta, sin, mim, yasin, taha, ayn, sin, qaf, kaf, ha, ya, ayn, sad, and so on. And it says that al-huruf al-muqatta'at, the cut letters are only found at the beginning of the chapters or the surah. Okay, so mad lazim kilmi and mad lazim harfi are both mukhaffaf and muthaqqal, so we can even divide it further. Okay, so going back here. So mad lazim, we have two types, kilmi and harfi. Kilmi, one word, harfi, one letter. Letters are only found at the beginning of surahs, like Yasin, they're only one letter. Alif, one letter. Lam, one letter. Mim, one letter. Right? And then we have harfi, which is that's letter, and kalima is one word, okay? And then we can further divide it into mukhaffaf and muthaqqal. Again, mukhaffaf is referring to sukoon, muthaqqal referring to shadda. So there will be muthaqqal, heavy, if the sukoon is due to idgham. So what are examples? Walad dallin. Look here. Dallin. Okay, so we have dal. The first lam has sukoon, the second has a kasra. So it's actually shadda, right? So this will be heavy, muthaqqal. So mad lazim, and it's in one word, kilmi. So we'll say mad lazim, because lazim means the sukoon is always there. This sukoon on the lam is always there. So it's mad lazim. Mad means to pull. So mad lazim, is it kilmi harfi? It's one word, so it's kilmi. And is it muthaqqal heavy, mukhaffaf? It's muthaqqal. So mad lazim kilmi muthaqqal. Okay, that's how we do it. So alif lam mim. Lam, mim. Look here. Mim has first one has sukoon, second one kasra. We bring them together. Idgham is made. It's called muthaqqal. So it's mad because we pull. Lazim, it's permanent. This sukoon will always be permanent. A kilmi, right? This is harfi, right? And then muthaqqal. Okay. Now there will be mukhaffaf. So the example of kilmi and harfi. There will be mukhaffaf, light, if the sukoon appears without any idgham. Example, al-ana. Look here. There's an alif followed by a lam with a sukoon. Remember, there always has to be a mad letter. Either alif or ya. Here, there was alif. Here, there is what? Alif, lam. Okay. And also mim, right? Mim. Okay. Yeah, so this is a ya. Example of ya. And this is example of a alif. Hold on, where is the spotlight? Okay, there we go. So there's an alif and there's a ya and there's an alif. And then lean here obviously is not a mad lazim, because you can say lina, right? So this would be mad adam, right? The temporary mad. Okay. So there will be mukhaffaf if the sukoon appears without any idgham. So al-ana. So here there's a lam with a sukoon, but you don't do any idgham. You just say al and then move forward. Qaf wal Qur'ani. So there's a qaf, there's an alif followed by a fa with a sukoon. Is this sukoon permanent? Yes, so it's mad lazim. Okay. Is it kilmi? No, it's not in a word, it's in one letter, so it's harfi. Is it muthaqqal? Is it heavy? No, because there's no shadda, so it's mukhaffaf. Mad lazim, harfi, mukhaffaf. Okay. That's how the terminology is done. Okay, mad lean. If after the letter of lean, remember the letter of lean is either waw or a ya, and before there's a fatha. If after the letter of lean there is a temporary sukoon, it will be mad lean arid. Okay, arid again means temporary, which means you can do طول, tawassut, or qasr. So you can say صيف, or again, صيف, or you don't have to open your finger on the qasr. It's mad tabi'i, it's natural. Tawassut, 3 fingers. صيف, or صيف. خوف, خوف, خوف. Okay. If after the letter of lin, the sukoon is permanent, right? Here is not permanent. Why? Because you can say what? لإيلاف قريش إيلافهم رحلة الشتاء والصيف, right? And carry on. Or in Surah Al-Ma'un, right? خوف. So it has a haraka. It's not always going to be sukoon. If you continue, it will not be sukoon. If after the letter of lin, it's permanent, then it will be mad lin lazim. Why is it lin? Because we know what lin is, and lazim just means it's permanent. And this is mad lin adil. Okay, so this is called mad lin adil, and this is called mad lin lazim. Why? Look here, hamim ayn sin qaf and kaf ha ya ayn sad. So here the ayn, right, is what? The sukoon is always there. Ayn is like this, right? Ayn. So this is mad lin. Why? Because there's a ya with a sukoon, and before there's a fatha, ay. But the noon here has a sukoon and it's permanent. You don't say ayna or aynu or ayni or aynun, right? It's always ayn. So therefore it's mad lin lazim. And you can do tawassut or tul here. Tul is preferred. Okay. So you can say ayn, and you do ikhfa there because it's followed by sin, right? Noon sakin followed by sin. Ayn, si, and go on. Okay. Or you can make it tul. In this example, right? Kaf, ha, ya, ayn, sad, right? And here the ikhfa or the ghunna will be heavy because it's followed by a sad. All right, I hope that made sense, inshallah. I think we covered. Let's see. Yeah.
Sorry, Ustad. You know, Saad, is it the end with dal or dad? The spelling of Saad.
Sorry, one more time.
The spelling of Saad, we first stop on the Ain, Sin, Saad. Saad, is it the end? Is it dal or dad? I forgot.
This one here?
Yes.
Saad with a dal. Saad.
Dal. Shukran. Okay.
Dal. That's how you say the letter. Okay. There's another question here. Where did it go? Can you guys still hear me? Okay.
Yes, we can.
I thought it was gone. Okay. So yeah, there's another question. Why is it al-ana and not al-ana? Oh, you're referring to this one here. Okay. So look here. There's a hamza followed by alif, right? Al. So you have to stretch it. Al-ana. So it won't be al-ana. Okay. This is one qira'ah, right? Obviously, there's another qira'ah where it's, you know, you do tasheel, but we won't get into that now, inshallah. But here there's an alif after it. Okay. So the question is, I guess what you're asking is why is it not al-ana, which means al-an, now? Because it's a question, right? So there's a hamza before it. There's a question. This hamza it comes for a question. So plus al-ana. Does that make sense? Yeah, I guess for those who know Arabic, it would make sense. It would make sense. But if you don't understand it, that's fine. Don't worry about it. Okay, so here it's a nice summary for you. Mad. We have mad asli, which is mad tabi'i, the natural mad, and far'i. So asli, after the letter of mad, there is no hamza, no sukoon. So you're going to read it natural. Maliki, ar-Rahmani, right? Nasta'inu. Nasta'inu. You're not going to say nasta'inu, right? If you carry on, obviously. Far'i, after the letter of mad, there is a hamza or sukoon. So if there's a hamza, if it's in one word, it's muttasil. If it's in two words, munfasil. If there is a sukoon after the hamza, if there is a sukoon after the letter of mad, which is alif, waw, or ya. If it's temporary, it's adil. So we can do qasr, tawassut, tul. If it's permanent, it's lazim. Okay. If it's one word, kilmi. If it's idgham, heavy, it's muthaqqal. If it's light, mukhaffaf. If it's harfi, one letter, okay, if it's heavy, muthaqqal, and light, mukhaffaf. And then we have mad lean. We can have arid, like sayfin, right, or khawfun, if you continue. Or mad lazim, it's always there, like ayn, okay. And those are the only two examples. I mean, the ayn is the only example in the Quran. I mean, waqf is not too long. You know, what time is it? Yeah, actually, we're out of time here. Okay, so alhamdulillah, I mean, we covered the chapter of mad, so mashallah, that's amazing. It's a long chapter. Some people get confused on it. I hope, you know, it was, you know, now you know it's not that confused. Right?
I have a question about lean.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, if the lean middle of the ayah, do we have to stretch it, or we just need a little bit of time, like a shaitani?
So you can answer that by yourself. What's after the ya? There's a ta with fatha, right? There's not a sukoon.
Yeah.
So what do you do?
We didn't stretch it, but sometimes get confused.
Yeah, you're not going to stretch it. It's going to be qasr. Shaytani.
Okay, jazakallah khair. Jazakallah.
Yeah, if it's at the end, I mean, if you make it into sukoon, then obviously you have the option of stretching it, like saif, and so on. Any other questions before we conclude?
Excuse me. Some teachers say that tool is about 6 haraka. Is that correct also?
So remember, we're using which, like I said, I told you there's different ways of counting. So we're using the alif system. Alif is what?
2 haraka.
No, I mean, qasr is what? 1 alif, right? Tawassut is 3 or 4, and pool is what? 5 alifs.
5, yeah.
Or fingers. The reason why I like this system is because you can use fingers.
Yeah.
We don't have 6 fingers, right? I mean, most people don't, right? So we have 5 fingers. So that's why I like to use this system. So don't confuse yourself, right? It doesn't matter what you use. You use haraka, you use alif, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you have to sit in front of a teacher and they're going to correct you, right? If you read too long, they're going to tell you this is too long, this is too short, too long, too short, too long, short, too short. Imagine doing this again and again and again. How many mads are there, right? Almost every ayah, every second ayah, you're going to stretch something, right?
Yeah.
By the time you read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 juz, right? You'll be fine, inshallah.
Thank you.
They're going to correct you again and again. Make sure that you're reading the correct duration.
Jazakallah.
Yeah, so don't get confused on that. It's just a different way of defining things, because how can you define a mad, right? I mean, you can't say it's seconds, right? So that's why they use the haraka system or the alif system. Doesn't matter. When will we have exercise lesson? Also, will Ustad and Nabina be joining us next week? Okay, exercise lesson will be done right after waqf. So we have one more chapter. So once we finish this last chapter here, then inshallah, we're going to move on to a lot of practice. Okay, so we're going to use the other book and do a lot of practice. We're going to put everything together. Everything that we learned in this book, inshallah, will be put into practice. So it's going to be a lot of review for you. So we're going to take one ayah and do everything in it. We're going to do the makhraj of it. We're going to do a sifa. We're going to find out if it's sifa, the sifat lazima, right? And the arida as well. Okay, so then you're going to tell me, is it noon sakina? Is it ikhfa, idgham, idhar, iqlab? Is it mim sakina, idgham, idhar, ikhfa? Is there a mad? What type of mad? Mad muttasil, one word, munfasil, 2 words. Is it qasr? Is it tawassut? Is it pool? And so on. So we're going to put everything together, including the chapter of waqf. So we have one more chapter remaining, inshallah. And as your second question, inshallah, she should be joining next week. Yeah. Today is the first time I've joined. Saturday is always busy. Inshallah, I'm going to join. Yeah. So for those of you just joining now, you can refer to the recordings, try to catch up, inshallah. We're almost done the book. So we're going to finish waqf and then move on to a lot of practice, inshallah. And then after this book, inshallah, maybe, we'll go on to actual recitation classes. So you can actually recite and put everything into practice. But now you see the importance of this. If you didn't know the theory, right, then if the teacher corrects you in the future and tells you, they can tell you 1,000 times and say, read the fa like this, fa, or whatever, right? But if you know where the makhraj is, you know the sifa of it, is it hams, is it jahar, is it shidda, ikhwa, isti'la, istifal, is it have qalqala or whatnot? then and only then will you be able to appreciate and put everything together, the theory plus what you hear from the teacher, and then you'll get most benefit, inshallah.
When I read the book and when I listen your lecture, I feel that I understood. But when I recite, then I do mistakes.
Yeah, that's natural, right? So inshallah, once we finish this, we're going to do a lot of practice, right? We're going to put everything into practice first, and then after that, we'll do recitation, inshallah. How do we watch the recordings? So we can, there's a website here, simply, it's in Arabic, I can't change my keyboard. Trying to change my keyboard. Yeah, there you go. Someone posted it. Thank you. Actually, it's working now. Okay. Simply Quran.com/tajweed. If you click that link there, you'll find the both books, PDFs, Murshid book and the other exercise book, and you'll find all the recordings, inshallah, as well. Last question: how long will the practice period be? I mean, once we finish the class on waqf, the last chapter in this book, we're going to have the practice sessions, right? So there'll be the duration of the classes, whatever it is, right? 1 hour or whatever. And then inshallah, we may have a short little test at the end after we do, maybe 1 or 2, 3 sessions of practice. We'll have a little test, okay? Just make sure that you guys are paying attention. And then you can even receive ijazah in this book, inshallah, as well. Directly from my teacher, I learned from Sheikh Riyad, and he learned from the author of this book, inshallah. I also have ijazah permission from the author directly as well. So I'll give everyone ijazah and sanad in the book as well, once we complete that, inshallah. Any other questions before we?
Yeah, excuse me. The test will be oral or written?
It'll be written, inshallah, for now.
Okay, thank you.
Sheikh, just one question for you, please.
Yeah.
So towards the end of Surah Fatiha, when we say Walad Dallin, lengthen long, can you just explain that mud there, please?
Yeah. So Walad Dallin, so you can see here, it would be mad, right? It would be, where is it here? So first of all, it's not asli, right? Because if I write it here, Dallin, okay. By the way, I cannot see the chat here. I don't know what happened here. Can someone just send a message in the chat box? Okay, there it's back now. Yeah, so Dallin will be like this, right? So what do we have here? For the brother who was asking, who was it? Who was asking?
Myself.
Yeah, what's your name?
Abu Maryam Abdul Qayyum.
Okay, so Abu Maryam, look here. There's a mad letter, right? What's the mad letter?
Alif.
Alif. Followed by what?
Lam.
By lam, right? And does the lam have a sukoon?
No.
No.
So again, so we have 2 types. Remember, it's dal and then lean. So it's actually written like what? It's written like this, right? It's dal.
Oh yes, sukoon. Sorry, yeah.
It does have a sukoon, right? Dallin. So look here then. So what's the one of the conditions for a mad to stretch? We need sukoon. It's either hamza or sukoon, right? So here, this one is sukoon. Now, is it permanent or temporary? This is permanent. You can't mess around with this sukoon. It's always there. So it's permanent. So it's lazim. Is it one word or is it one letter, one word? This is one word. So it's kilmi. Is it mukhaffaf, muthaqqal? Muthaqqal means there's a shadda, 2 lams together. So it's muthaqqal. So it means you're going to stretch it 5. This is mad lazim.
Exactly.
Okay, 5 fingers you can say, or 5 alifs. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Cool. Any other questions? Okay, I'm going to stop the recording here. And then if anyone has any questions, they can continue.